Hey guys, YouTuber Nerd here. All right, and yeah, we're still in the process of moving right now. Still clearing the place out. Yeah, but yeah, like I told you guys in my last video, I did have something planned this year for Christmas. Yeah, and now here I am to begin what I do have planned this year for Christmas. Yeah, so as I've been saying the last couple of years, it seems that every year, during Christmas time, I always review at least one Nickelodeon Christmas special. I've already reviewed a bunch of Nickelodeon Christmas specials already. I reviewed the Rugrats Christmas specials, well, most of them, and then I've talked about the SpongeBob Christmas specials. I've talked about Merry Christmas Drake and Josh. I've talked about the Hey Arnold Christmas special. Uh, I talked about the Doug Christmas special. Last year I talked about the Rocko's Modern Life Christmas special. So yeah, so I've already talked about quite a few Nickelodeon Christmas specials over the years. Yeah, and there's still a lot of other Nickelodeon Christmas specials as well. So I figured this year for Christmas, what I would do is I would just dedicate it entirely to Nickelodeon Christmas specials. So yeah, so that is what I am going to be doing this year for Christmas. This year for the Christmas reviews I do this year, it's all going to be dedicated to Nickelodeon Christmas specials. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just really going to be talking about any Nickelodeon Christmas special that I really have not talked about yet, because yeah, there are still quite a few that I haven't actually talked about yet. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing this year or for Christmas. It's going to be I'm going to be reviewing a whole bunch of other Nickelodeon Christmas specials that I haven't talked about yet. Yeah, the only catch is that they have to be of a Nickelodeon shows that I am actually familiar with, because yeah, over the years, in more recent years, I really haven't really followed Nickelodeon anymore. So yeah, so all of the more moderate Nickelodeon Christmas specials of the more recent shows, I'm not really going to be talking about any of those. I'm just going to be talking about Nickelodeon specials from shows that I actually am familiar with. Yeah. Yeah, and also to make it more interesting, like I've been doing the last few years, I've been doing it where I have I talked about stuff I've altered between like a special and a movie and all that stuff. I do something to really alternate with my Christmas reviews. Yeah, and so what I've decided to do this year is that I'm gonna be alternating between an animated show and a live action show. So yeah, because yeah, there have been a Nickelodeon Christmas specials for both their animated and their live action shows. So yeah, so throughout now all through Christmas, all through these reviews, I'll be alternating between a an animated special and a live action special. So yeah, so I'll just be alternating like that all through these reviews. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing this year for Christmas. Yeah, it's just going to be reviews of Nickelodeon Christmas specials that I haven't talked about yet. All right, so yeah, and so to start off with these reviews, this is here I am with a review for the last Rugrats Christmas special that I have yet to talk about yet, which is Babies in Toyland. So, yeah. So, this, like I said, I've already talked about all the other Rugrats holiday specials. Yeah, I've reviewed the Santa Experience Rugrats Christmas special. I even also talked about the Let It Snow episode of the show. Yeah, and I've even talked about the Hanukkah and Kwanzaa specials that Rugrats did. Yeah, and this is really the last holiday special from Rugrats that I haven't talked about yet. So yeah, so I figured it would be a good time to talk about this to really finish off the Rugrats holiday specials. So yeah, so this special this aired during the last season of the show. Yeah, this aired like during season 9, yeah. And this like originally aired in 2002. Yeah. And yeah, and I really didn't really remember actually watching this special when I was younger. So yeah, so well, going into it, like I really like didn't really have any recollection of it or what it really was actually about. So yeah, so I really like went into watching the special really with a blank mind and not really like knowing what to expect from it. And yeah, and then I just did like give this a watch, and quite honestly, I wasn't really that big into this one. Yeah, I mean, just yeah, I just really didn't find this one to be very interesting. It just really seemed to be like very like yeah, it just seemed to be like very just like it just felt very basic and just like it kind of felt like we were just like learning a it was just like showing a lesson that like we had already seen before. Yeah, this pretty much like just pretty much like went back on like what was like what they did in the Santa Experience episode. Remember, like in the Santa Experience episode, how it was really about Angelica really like trying to redeem herself. How when she learned that like bad kids do get lumps of coal for Christmas, and she was really trying to like really redeem herself after something bad that she'd done. Well, in this special, it kind of seems like we're going back down that route. Like, in this special, it's like how like it is Christmas time, of course, and Angelica is like trying to really like say how like she's been good all year and all this stuff, and she's getting presents, and like she tells the baby stuff that really makes them think that like if they don't like get their presents like Dill will never have another Christmas again. So yeah, so Angelica really is just like manipulative of the babies once again. And then yeah, and then she just then like learns how because of how she's behaved, she won't be like receiving gifts, and so then she basically is just like trying to really make herself look good again. So yeah, so it really just seems that it really is just like going through the same thing that Angelica had already went through in the Santa Experience episode. So yeah, so just like why did they just like give Angelica this kind of story again and really just like basically like she just like shut out the lesson that she had already learned before in the Santa Experience episode. So yeah, so this really just seems to be like a real step back, and they really are just like going through the same thing over again. So yeah, so I really wasn't really too big into that. Yeah, yeah. Then yeah, and anyway, but the story for this special is that it is Christmas time, like I said, and it's Christmas Eve, and then it is like a Dill's first Christmas, and then Stu decides to take the family and friends, so basically like all the like the the Pickles family, the DeVilles, the Finsters, and yeah, and all of them. Yeah, they Stu decides to take the family to like a Yuletide themed park that Stu designed that was like located right in front of Charlotte's company's headquarters. Orders, yeah, and the name of the park is called Christmas Land, and then Stu just decides to like have everybody spend Christmas Eve there, yeah, and yeah, and then Angelica, like as I said, she manipulates the babies, like with the being the brat that she is, like she basically just tells the babies that like presents are the only things that make Christmas special, and then they're and Santa Claus gives out the best ones, and Angelica is really like saying how she's really been good all year and all this stuff, and then she's like she wants to find Santa and get tell him what she wants for Christmas, yeah. Then yeah, and then Angelica basically just like uh, tells the babies that Dill will never get to celebrate Christmas again if he doesn't get anything good for Christmas, yeah. So yeah, so then at the park, Angelica basically is just looking for Santa Claus, and then Stu is like showing like all the other parents the control room for the park, and then eventually like they end up getting trapped inside the cabin that they are all in because Stu's the snow machine that Stu had ended up having shooting out too much snow and having them being trapped inside the cabin. Yeah, yeah, and then eventually Angelica is looking for Santa Claus, and then she ends up finding she sees one of the elves that was named Hermie that's heading for an employee break room, and then Angelica just, figures that Santa's hiding in that break room, and so then Angelica really just sneaks into the break room, and then she eventually comes across us a Santa in the break room, and the guy that's being Santa like uh like is trying to really play the part for Angelica, but it shows how Angelica really is just being so obnoxious and ungrateful, and yeah, and then after the Santa ends up giving Angelica a plush reindeer toy. Angelica really is just unpleased with it, and then yeah, then she just ends up just like uh going off on the Santa, and then eventually the Santa then just decides that he's had enough of it, and then just ends up quitting the job. Yeah. Yeah, but then yeah, then when the babies see that Santa has quit, they think that it's over, and Dill really just um is not going to get anything in good for Christmas and will not be able to celebrate it again. Kimmy then pointed out that when Santa quit, he didn't actually take his bag of toys, and so then they may actually still have an opportunity to have something good for Dill for Christmas, and the presents are still in the park somewhere. So then yeah, so basically then for the rest of the special, then the babies are basically just searching all around the park to try to find the presents. And yeah, to be quite honest, it's really not that interesting to watch. Yeah, it's really just it's kind of boring just watching what they do. All it really is just how the babies are just searching all around the park and trying to find the gifts, and then they come across all the bunch of the animatronics all around the park thinking they're real, and they are trying to run from them or fight them off and just do all this stuff with them. Yeah. And yeah, and it's just really not very fun to watch, to be honest. Yeah. 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 And then yeah, then eventually then like uh like Grandpa Lou then discovers that um uh, that the that Hermie is dealing with a line of impatient kids and parents that are waiting to see Santa, and since there's no Santa because the Santa quit, Lou then volunteered to be Santa into himself for the kids. Yeah. And yeah, and then Angelica then eventually yeah, Angelica while still trying to find Santa's workshop, it shows how she's really acting up and doing some pretty bad things. She drove off some Christmas carolers with some off key singing. Yeah, then at one point then she ended up just taking all the free cookies that some other carolers are giving out. Yeah, so yeah, so it shows how she's really acting up, and yeah, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. Angelica had already learned in the Santa Experience episode that when you act bad, you then just get lumps of coal for Christmas. So why is Angelica doing that stuff again? Does it? It's she just is totally shutting out the lesson that she had already learned before. So yeah, so that is really the problems that I do have with this special. How it basically is just shutting out the lesson that was already learned in the Santa Experience. Yeah. Then yeah, and then eventually then Angelica then finds a building that appears to be Santa's workshop. Yeah, but yeah, then when she discovers that the door is locked, she then just ends up like breaking it down, and then she then like sees like what appears to be like a fully fledged toy workshop. But then like Hermie, he then um uh, like appears, and then as Angelica is like telling Hermie that like she's like wants the presents that she's expecting and claiming that she's been good all year, Hermie then like ends up like checking the nice list and like tells Angelica that her name isn't on it. Yeah, then he ended up just like pointing out like all of the bad things that Angelica had been doing, like scaring off the carolers, taking the cookies, and lying to the babies. And then Angelica's plush reindeer that she named Prancy then just ended up like turning into a real talking reindeer, and was also feeling hurt by how Angelica was like treating him before. Then we get like this musical number with Hermia Prancy really just like telling Angelica that she should treat every day like Christmas, and then Angelica getting the message, and then like decide to change her ways once again, learning the lesson that she had already learned before in the Santa experience. Yeah, yeah. So then like she then decided to like change her ways, and then just like give the presents to the babies. Yeah. Then eventually then like the babies then come across like this goat that they think belongs to Santa, and it shows how like this goat had like wandered out of the petting zoo section of the park. Then the babies then decide to bring him back to his home. Yeah. And then they eventually like get back to the petting zoo and reunite the goat with its family. Then the babies eventually then came across like a nativity display and saw like one of saw like the baby Jesus in the manger. And so then they thinking the baby was real, they then like all gave the baby a gift, which like brightened up like the display. And then eventually then Grandpa Lou then like uh, learned that the kids were loose, and then he eventually then like took a horse-drawn sleigh to find the kids, and eventually did, and he then like picked them up, and then like head towards the cabin after finding out the adults were like snowed in to free them. So then once they arrived at the cabin, then like Lou started to dig them out, and then I guess the babies then like lamented that they never did actually find Santa's presents for them. And like he learned that like that because they had a good time trying to find Santa's workshop, that like maybe that's the kind of thing that makes Christmas so special. But then Angelica then like showed up with a bag of gifts that she found inside of the workshop and presented them to the babies. And then Lou eventually then like brought the kids back inside to reunite with their parents, and then as they're enjoying eating like all the time together in the cabin, Charlotte then like said how she hadn't really wanted to go to the company's party, and then it just ended with the family singing a Christmas carol with sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And then it just ended showing like the real Santa flying in his sleigh up in the sky, and that's how it ended. So really just I didn't really like find myself really enjoying this one too much. Like I just found it to be very boring, and plus like I've been saying, like the main problem that I really have with it is that really it's just like shutting out the lesson that was already like taught in the Santa Experience episode. Like Angelica had already learned what happens when it's to kids on Christmas when they're bad, and yet Angelica is just like acting that way again. So that's really like my main problem with it, that it's just like it just seems like it's taking a step back, and Angelica's character just seems reversed, and she's just going through the same thing again. And plus even like the babies like looking for the presents, it's just really not interesting to watch, to be honest. So yeah, so I would definitely say that I think this is the worst of the Rugrats holiday specials. Yeah, I would definitely watch the Santa Experience special over this one, definitely. Yeah, and yeah, this special is also like it's an hour long special. It's not really just like a full length special. So yeah, so it just being an hour long and it really not really being interesting. Yeah, that really is like one of its problems as well. So yeah, so to be honest, I would not really recommend this one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, towards the end, like Rugrats really was like kind of like not really like as enjoyable as like a lot of the earlier seasons were. So yeah, and I think this special really is an example of that. So yeah, yeah. So be quiet. So yeah. So my verdict is I would personally skip this one. I would definitely say just stick to the Santa experience. Special, and even like watch like the other Rugrats holiday specials over this one. Like of all the Rugrats holiday specials, this is the one that I would probably be the least to recommend. Yeah. So yeah. So it's not really my favorite, and yeah, personally, I'd give it a skip. I would say just watch the Santa Experience one again. All right. So yeah. So that's really like the best way I can put it. All right, so yeah, so I guess this is all I really have to say about it. All right, so yeah, so this does it for my review of the Rugrats Babies in Toyland Christmas special. So yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy what I did have to say about this special. Yeah, and stay tuned because yeah, there will be more of these Nickelodeon Christmas specials coming all through Christmas. All right, so yeah, so stay tuned for more coming. All right, but I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.